Alright, guys, back with another episode for the Game and Compute podcast. Here we go. Short tidbits episode. So, I think I've mentioned that I've been playing around with ChatGPT. Now, I've definitely seen value with it. I'm not afraid of it. I actually see it as an amazing tool for productivity, for fulfilling demands in different types of projects, potentially even helping to make some money. Now, a lot of people mention doing some outsourced type work for Fiverr, Upwork, things like that. I'd say the majority of things I've used have been for a bit of content creation. So I've played around a little bit with podcasts, kind of like show notes and description for the content writing portion of things. Now, I cited that content as saying it was from ChatGPT. Now, I don't know if that created any kind of issue with click-through rates or for the algorithm to kind of push episodes. I feel personally like maybe it decreased a little from pushing organic content to the general public. That's what I feel. I'm not 100% sure, but looking at analytics in the past few weeks, I've kind of noticed that. And I'm not talking specifically about this podcast. I have other pods, and I've kind of noticed like a bit of a dip. But during some of the holiday dates, and because I had so much family at home, and because of the weather, I wasn't easily able to record certain episodes, like about like cannabis products or hemp products or any, like LGBT stuff or things that I kind of like maybe didn't want everybody in my whole household kind of overhearing. And so from about just before the holidays, so sometime between like the end of Hanukkah and the start of the new year, there was a period where I wasn't really honestly recording too much. So that could have also created a bit of a drop in listens, and maybe just the time of year, and maybe because Spotify is changing a whole bunch of stuff on their end. So I don't really want to say specifically it's because of ChatGPT, but I did notice some changes during this month of January that I had not noticed during December or November when I was not using ChatGPT in any way. But yeah, my recording had decreased. A lot of things had decreased during that time. So it's hard to really isolate out and see like which variable is really creating that issue. So that's one thing. A second thing is, ebooks. Now, I'm not comfortable writing a whole entire ebook with somebody else's, with ChatGPT or, what it is that ChatGPT takes from the internet. I'm not comfortable doing that because, I studied a lot in school. I know what plagiarism is, and I have a very good history of not plagiarizing, and also I think it's important for one to think for themselves and create very original content when writing. But I'm not uncomfortable creating a free email type of a free like PDF pamphlet for the purpose of like capturing emails. So that's kind of a bit of a marketing aspect that I've used for some online stores, just making a branded online store, whatever it may be about. Let's say it's about, a couple healthy supplements, since it's the beginning of 2023 still, and people a lot of times start becoming more health conscious and having goals surrounding their health and exercise. Usually close to February is when people start falling off, so that's usually when people need more motivation. So, dabbling in things that are kind of more like psychological but entertaining, but self-help. Things like something valuable, like motivational, like a daily motivation guide, or like a daily affirmation guide, or something like that to just hand out for free. Make like an Amazon book, give it away, by and collect emails at the same time. So doing that form of thing for ChatGPT, I found it to be pretty helpful and useful, as far as like not having to make up the affirmations on my own or whatever it is, like the daily quote or whatever. Like I'm not making them up by myself. So on that end, for like making a free product to be able to capture emails, I feel like that's something that can easily be banged out in like 2 hours or something. Like it's not like a hard task to make a little manual that's for free. I feel like there's more time that goes into the artwork, which also, you can use ChatGPT for artwork as well and things like that. So I feel like I found some uses for it where I can actively use it in the projects that I'm actually working on, like podcasting, stuff that has to do with stores, stuff that has to do with marketing, just things like that. And I've heard of people, okay, so I guess I would say a lot of the clickbait that I've come across has been people using ChatGPT for, like I mentioned before, with like Upwork and Fiverr and things like that, and saying, okay, like just use it to write copy in like 3,000 word copy or 200 or 300 word copy for like a topic, and like instead of doing 2 hours or 2 day delivery, do 2 hour delivery or whatever it may be. And I feel like while that is a way to make money, I wouldn't say that it's not a way to make money. It's not maybe the it's maybe not the clear, what do you call it? Like you can make money, but it's not always like predictable. Now I feel like one thing that people don't focus on with Upwork and Fiverr and those types of things, if you're a very new person, you don't have like a verified, site, you might not have a lot of reviews, you might not have a lot of stars, Uh, you might not have a lot of examples to show of your work. And so you're basically, your stuff is not going to get pushed unless people are like searching, and what they're searching by is like something that they can filter. Like if they're searching by delivery date, and they want you to write, I don't know, like a 5,000 word pamphlet about motivation or whatever, and like they're looking for you to do that, and that's what you said you can do. Some ways that could maximize your chances are, knowing the competition, and in a way like undercutting or being more visible by offering something faster or better or extra. So like that Chaudhry guy was saying, he was saying like not really using I don't know if he really said that now that I think of it, but like trying to use like instead of 2 days, 2 hours. So if somebody's filtering by the fastest delivery, yours is likely going to pop up because 2 hours is pretty short for delivery time for Fiverr and those types of sites. Usually it's 1 day, probably 2, probably more, depending on the difficulty of the task. So that's one thing that they don't mention, is that while you can make money on Fiverr and things like that, it's not like guaranteed, because people have to search for you. It's almost like eBay in a way. It's like when you're shopping for something, you're shopping usually for a combination of cheap, good, fast. Those are usually what people want. They want the best quality, the fastest delivery, and the lowest price out of their pocket. You rarely see people wanting to pay way more. If they do pay way more, they want the quality to be far better. And fast is usually preferred. If somebody wants something fast, they might be willing for it to be worse quality or cheaper quality or something. But if it costs a lot and it's fast, they're probably going to want better quality. If they want something that's affordable, like cheaper, low rate pricing, sometimes people are willing to wait longer for something that costs more just because it costs more. Or maybe if they're paying more for some kind of shipping or delivery or email or something, if they're paying more for it, a lot of times they want more. And so you can't really get away from those three qualities. And if you're in the side hustle and business side of things, it's really going to be hard to get away from those types of qualities. People want all of those. I mean, think about the stuff that you buy. Like, if you go on Amazon Prime and you see something that's way cheaper and it's Prime delivery versus something that's going to take you 30 days from China, that, maybe it's cheaper, but it's going to take 30 days. Like, like what if you want some, I don't know what people want, like Tupperware storage for their fridge or whatever. If you're trying to clean the fridge in the next couple days, you're not trying to wait 30 days for your items to come to you so you can start cleaning then. Like say you have company coming over in 3 days and you're cleaning and you realize you have a lot of new food that you just need to store, and you want your fridge to look nice or something like that. So I wouldn't say that it's a bad like a bad like a bad option, but I mean, it's basically you have to market yourself. If you don't market yourself in any way, people aren't going to know that you exist on Fiverr and Upwork and all those places. Like the product you provide might not initially speak for itself. I feel like when you're selling actual products, it's a little bit different because people might be searching per product and yours might be likely to pop up. Versus if you're searching for like a skill and hiring somebody, you know, you have to have a lot of traffic already and a lot of services you've provided already, usually to be someone that, you know, is going to be one of the top few people that pops up. And most people, when they're on Fiverr, you know, they're looking for like a combination of things. When they're looking for workers, they're generally looking for a combination of things. And it really does help to have good reviews. Now, if you don't have good reviews or any reviews yet because you haven't really done a lot, I mean, there might be a way around that. I don't really know for sure, but you might be able to show samples of your work, give like a Google Drive link to some examples of your work, or I know there's options to like upload samples of your work and things like that, and finding a way to kind of market your skills so that people actually click and buy your service. Otherwise, if people aren't finding you, it's not very likely you're going to get a lot of customers. So that is kind of what I would say when it comes to ChatGPT. I do see a lot of kind of clickbait. Most of it's like, you know, half of it's like people worrying about how it's going to change things for the negative and people cheating and all this stuff. And then another part of it is like people worrying that they're going to be out of jobs because the market's going to be saturated with copywriting and different types of forms of like written content creation and other types of content creation. Other people think it's going to get way out of hand. Other people think, oh, like this is a way to make money. But I haven't really heard of people talking about a lot of money making opportunities in a way where you'll definitely make money. Like, just consider that, you know, there is probably a marketing aspect. You probably have to have an aspect of some kind of reputation. And so, yeah, I would say those would be the two missing parts that a lot of people don't talk about. Like, yes, in theory, you could probably make a lot of sales for your you could probably get a lot of customers. But, yeah, it's going to be hard to do if nobody sees your site. So, yeah, just think it through. And if you're trying to make money with ChatGPT, there definitely are methods to do that. I'm not trying to make like clickbait content, but this is probably kind of what I would say. Is it might be a bit of a long game. I tend to play a long game. If I were doing content creation, I would do a long game. If it was written content and I was using ChatGPT, I would probably do the Fiverr thing, but for a lower rate at a faster pace than most people, just to get recognition, or even do a couple free gigs just to get recognition and reviews, find out what it takes to get verified or whatever the term is, and, you know, try to keep it professional. I mean, I've seen people market skills on like Craigslist and eBay and all over the place. Like, it, you know, you don't have to do it through Fiverr or whatever. But I would probably try the same thing on different platforms and see like where the most traction comes from. And also I would probably do other forms of like marketing to capture emails and to create an email list so that if you do have products to sell, or skills that you're selling, that you're actually like working for people, selling your own time and energy to work for them, like help with their projects, I would probably consider kind of different aspects basically of kind of the long game, just like build from the ground up and create a lot of content, a lot of examples, a lot of reviews, get a lot of reviews, not just like overnight, okay, I'm setting up like a Fiverr page and it might work, you might get people rolling in, like if you can figure out how to get the views to you, it could work. Like, I'm not saying it won't work, I'm just saying it kind of depends what you're doing, how saturated and competitive the field already is. I mean, when you think about it too with ChatGPT, I don't know if it's very wise to just copy paste content, depending what other people are using it for. So say, for example, if somebody's having you write a chapter for their book, I wouldn't just like go to ChatGPT, write a 5,000 page chapter on whatever the topic may be, and then just copy paste them that work and be like, here it is, like, especially because ChatGPT pulls from, was it from 2020? It pulls like data from the internet. I don't really fully understand what that means. I think it creates original content. From what it sounds like, it creates a form of original and editable content based on what the internet said in 2020. So anything that's updated from past that time period, like it might not be able to explain that kind of stuff to you. So if it's like a new topic that someone wants you to write on that just started in 2023, you might not have all the latest data. And so just that kind of stuff, I would say be careful with it. Like, to me, it sounds like it can help to streamline ideas. Some content doesn't need to be that original. Like, if it's like customer service emails and that kind of stuff, like, nobody's gonna care if you're like writing it all like a standardized message or whatever, as part of like a protocol. But I do think if you're writing like books or blog posts or things like that, you might not want it to sound not like you. And I think that could be an easy trap for people to fall into, especially if they start making money that way. ChatGPT, by the way, it has a free version, but there's also this other part of the site that looks like it kind of tracks some kind of point system for using it. And then I think past a certain point, there's probably a subscription required. But I don't really know. I haven't really done like a subscription-based use of it yet. But yeah, I mean, I know I'm not recording a lot lately on here, but I've definitely got a lot going on, and I'm trying not to like go into it too much. It's mostly good things. I'm just adjusting to a lot of change, and it's taking patience and energy. I'm feeling myself needing to rest more often and relax more often and take more days off more often and not be so like bogged down in projects so often. And so I'm trying to do what I need to do for my own health and not being too kind of distant distant from my, I don't like being distant from my projects, but sometimes I don't really have a lot of creative stuff going on, or if I do, it's hard for me to like be in a creative headspace, and I'm just like in go mode and not really like putting any kind of creative spin out there or talking about it. I'm just kind of in motion doing it. So yeah, there's a lot of times where I maybe don't quite, lately you've probably noticed I'm not recording all the time. The issue I was having before with my job is no longer an issue. But yeah, I would say, you know, it's, a lot of things are works in progress, and I'm learning a lot. You know, I'm definitely playing the game of life, and I'm learning a lot. I kind of stepped off of a path that I worked towards for most of my professional life, and I'm kind of going rogue and doing something completely different. Not that I didn't have any experience in it, but I'm kind of taking some of my hobbies and just creative interests and turning them into, well, I've been turning them into income streams, but I'm spending more energy on it since I'm not working full time right now. I'm spending my full-time time to work on such things, and so I'm definitely enjoying it, but it's also, I hadn't, like, if I looked at my timeline, like when I was in school in 2023, this is not really where my goals were, but I kind of see the potential for the route I'm taking to be not less stressful, but a different type of stress that's not so risk-based with other people's risk factors with their physical and mental issues, with hospitalizations and ERs and all that kind of stuff. Like, so I'm not having to deal with that on a daily basis, so it's freeing up more emotional and mental space for me. But I do notice a lot of other stuff is kind of flooding in, so some of that emotional and mental energy is being taken over by other unresolved things that I'm trying to simultaneously resolve while I'm still I'm planning as I go, but also I'm planning, like I'm doing part of the plan, but I'm kind of adjusting the plan as I go. If there's things that aren't working, then I'm adjusting, and so that's kind of where I stand with things. I don't intend to stop recording. I just also have not done a whole heap of recording. So we'll see where all this stuff goes. I'm not too worried or concerned. But I am trying to practice a lot of patience and gratitude for having this break. But finding patience during this time is a little of a challenge. It's not bad. It's just, maybe I thought it would be easier. I don't know. I feel like I thought it would be like really easy. So most of it's easy. There are parts of it that are a little surprisingly challenging. So yeah, if I seem a bit absent on here, that's why. I'm just trying to like figure it out on my own as well. So there's no roadmap or necessarily a school path to what I'm doing right now. it's all self-education, trial, error, just trying it, firsthand knowledge, and then basically having to adjust to anything that changes on the internet, which is something that I haven't had to deal with as far as an income. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I have to say about ChatGPT up till this point. And yeah, with that, thanks for listening.